This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Number one best-selling author and Ramsey personality Christina Ellis joins me as my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and have incredible, high-quality, real relationships. We're so glad you're with us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Before we jump to the phones, we just want to say thank you to all of you, America. You have given Ramsey Solutions yet another number one bestseller. Dr. John Deloney's book, we found out late last night, is the number one best-selling book in the nation on its launch week. So congratulations to Dr. John, to the marketing team, to the Ramsey Solutions folks, and but thank you guys. The reason that works is that we let you know that what Dr. John Deloney has to say is amazing, and you believed us, and you went and bought the book. And we appreciate that. We appreciate you being customers. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you. You folks in every nook and cranny, major metro market in the United States have come around and been faithful to Ramsey and all things Ramsey for many, many decades, many of you, and we're just thankful for you. We appreciate you, and this book is more than deserving of this. It is an exciting piece of writing, all about the not-so-complicated approach to relationships, mental health, and wellness. Own your past, change your future is a number one, Christina!
Yes. Go Dr. John Deloney. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and so many people are just saying it's changing their lives. People who didn't think they needed their lives changed picked up this book and are just raving about it. So that's just amazing. I'm so proud of them.
Well, I'm always happy as the owner of the company when I'm reading through the manuscript and I get choked up. So that always gives me a hint that this thing's probably a hit, right? Because if you can get me to I mean, because I'm kind of seen it all, done it all, and that kind of stuff. So, but this is good. It's good inside my brain. It's good inside my life, and it's good inside yours. It's good inside other people's. Own your past, change your future. And the lineup of people: Dr. Les Parrott, Pat Lencioni, Dr. Lynn Jennings, Craig Groeschel, Dr. Michael Gomez, Dr. Meg Meeker, Dr. Henry Cloud that endorsed the book is absolutely incredible. And again, thank you. You guys out there, no matter how good the book is, if you guys don't go pick it up, it doesn't help you. You don't get to tell other people about it, and it certainly doesn't become a number one. So we did not cause this book to be a number one. You guys out there did by buying it and by supporting John and the efforts here. And we just want to say thank you and congratulations to Dr. Deloney on his first major number one book. Very cool stuff.
It's so needed and so timely right now. I feel like every day I see an article about the mental health crisis and this going on and people feeling so much anxiety. And I just love that this book empowers people to take control. They realize they don't have to live there. They don't have to stay in anxiety. They don't have to keep struggling. They can change their future. That's
what happened was we got kicked in the kneecap emotionally and in our mental wellness. And those of us that were pretty strong or were medium strong, we got a sore knee emotionally and our mental wellness from the stuff we've all been through in the last couple of years. And so we need a framework to process that, and we need some guiding steps, some things to do, some guiding principles to do this. Now, if you've got serious mental wellness, mental health issues, this is not a book about that. This is a book like for regular people to be better regular people. Hello.
Right.
Have better quality relationships, better things going on. All right, let's start with Ben today on this hour. Ben is in Chicago. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking me on.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, quick question for you. So I'm 37. I've got roughly about $800,000 in net worth. I'd like to be a millionaire by age 40.
Or you will be.
As close as possible. So here's my question for you. I have obviously a primary house, then I have 2 investment properties. And over the past couple of years, I've accumulated approximately $30,000 in just loans, credit card debt, things like that I just want to pay off. My question for you is, I should be able to pay this off in 2 years, which I believe that's what your book says, without having to sell any properties or things like that. Should I just try to pay it off in 2 years, keep the investment properties, and continue on with my plan? Or should I sell one or both investment properties and pay off all my debt and throw a good chunk at my primary residence and pay off that loan?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first thing that occurs to me that sounds weird is that $37,000 is such a big deal if you have $800,000. What do you make?
Sure. Between my wife and I, we make around $210 a year.
Okay. You don't have 2 years. You got 1 year.
Sure.
That's completely wimpified. That's completely wimpified. You make a lot of money. Pay off the stink of debt, man. Cut up your credit cards. You're sloppy.
And we did. Yeah. We took care of the credit cards and things like that. And my main goal is, I just want to pay off the debt and become debt free as soon as possible.
Yeah, yesterday.
I didn't know if the best. I didn't know if the best option were to sell an investment property to kind of jumpstart that, or just continue on with my plan and just pay off the debt.
No, I would just continue on your plan.
Yeah, with that income, I think you can definitely tighten up your budget and get this paid off quick, and then you'll still have those investment properties moving forward to build wealth. I think y'all are motivated and got that goal, so just get at it.
So, Ben, here's what I think I'm hearing, and you can tell me I'm wrong, and I'll accept that, okay? Okay, with your income, which is fabulous, and how great a job you've done building wealth, for this $37,000, which is a very small number in your world, to have snuck up on you and just appeared there, that feels like just a level of disorganization, a level of laziness.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, this last year we
mailed it in.
Yeah, exactly. And we were spending money that we didn't have.
Yeah. So, and you're just like, well, I can afford it, and I can just buy this. And you relaxed, and you kind of got fat.
Exactly.
That's what happened to me during COVID, by the way. I ate every donut in a 50-mile radius. I got so fat, it was unbelievable. I put on so much weight. I had to have a donut-ectomy. It was awful. And so I understand what happened. It's not, I'm not picking on you, not like I don't do the same stuff, but I think that's what I'm hearing. And so that's different than I mailed it in. I was sloppy, lazy, whatever we want to call it, without being too harsh, because it really wasn't that harsh. It was just, just tighten it up, dude, and get back to doing what you know how to do. You'll be done. That's a different prescription for you than, oh my God, you're so out of control and clueless. Because you're not.
Right.
You're not.
And I just want to, you know.
You don't need to sell those investment properties. You just need to get on a dadgum budget. You and your wife get together and go, hey, we're not doing this anymore.
Right.
It's that kind of thing, right? I had to do it to me. I'd look in the mirror and go, listen, you're fat. Quit eating donuts. Golly. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Well, we've taught God's and Grandma's ways of handling money and life around here at Ramsey for over 30 years. Now our good friend and Ramsey personality, Dr. John Deloney's paving the way for how we talk about relationships and mental health. The new book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, is available for purchase. I just mentioned it's a #1 bestseller as of yesterday. Every one of you listening needs this. You have a story, and you need to own your past and change your future. John's taken his 2 PhDs and 20 years of counseling experience and packed it into an easy-to-understand book. It's only $20, RamseySolutions.com. Own your past, change your future. Grace is in Los Angeles. Hi, Grace. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Dave.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband and I, we're in baby step 7, but we actually skipped baby step 5 because we cannot agree on how to execute baby step 5. We have 3 small children, and he does not want to put money away for their college because he's concerned that what if they don't do a 4-year college? Maybe we want the money more liquid so they can use it for a trade school or something else of that nature.
They can use a 529 for trade school.
They can use it for trade school, but what if? Well, I guess he's concerned that it gets locked in there, and then what if they just?
Well, it's not
don't
locked.
Go to
You can
college?
take it out. There's just a penalty on. You don't get to keep all the growth tax free. You get to pay a tax on the growth. You pay a tax on the growth.
But the principal you would be able to keep.
Sure, and you keep all the growth minus the penalty for the tax for taking it out and not using it for education.
Okay. So
and
we
it's
would
transferable to siblings.
Okay. So what would you suggest we do in this situation? I mean, do we fund?
I would suggest he gets some better knowledge than he has, which will lead him to a different decision.
That would be helpful.
Well, I mean, he's making
right?
it sounds like he thinks it's stuck in there. And Christina, 529 you can get too.
Yeah, there's a lot of options with 529s. You can even use it for K through 12 expenses. So if you notice that maybe your oldest isn't going to college, you can switch beneficiaries and use it for K through 12, use it on another one of your kids' educations. There is a lot of flexibility in it. So I know it's kind of scary because it seems so concerning about if your kids don't go to school, but there's a lot you can do with it.
But worst case scenario, you just simply cash it out. And let's say that you had put in $50,000 and it grew to $100,000. I'll just make up a number. That wouldn't be right. But let's just say, you made $50,000. Okay, you're going to pay taxes on the $50,000 growth. Or let's say you put $60,000 in and it grew to $100,000. That's probably more realistic. Okay, so you're going to pay taxes on the growth if you cash it in and don't use it for education, which you would have done if it was just in a mutual fund, by the way. Okay.
Oh.
You have to pay taxes on. If you put it in a mutual fund, you have to pay taxes on it. So, the only thing the 529 does is give you tax-free growth for education. So it's a Roth IRA for education in a sense, mathematically. So you can cash it out. You get to keep all of the money you put in, all of the growth, but you have to pay taxes on it and a penalty on it, like cashing out an IRA early.
What is the penalty?
I think it's 15.
10 or 15.
10 or 15. Okay. It used to be 10, and then it went up, and I think it's come back down. So I can't remember. But it's not. It's you're going to get to keep some of the growth and all of the principal, which is all you would have got. I mean, what you're going to lose here is the penalty, versus if you had it in mutual funds. So it's worth it. It's worth a try.
Okay.
So
is it better than in like an UTMA? Or?
Yeah, because an UTMA you're going to pay taxes on once it gets to a certain size. Okay. UTMA's what I use for my kids because 529s weren't there when they were little. There's no such thing. So let's talk about an UTMA because this is a really good discussion. Thank you for calling. An UTMA stands for UTMA, Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. In no case can a minor under 18 years old do a financial transaction of any kind. They can't have a bank account. So if you go down and open a bank account for your kid at the local bank, it's technically not in your kid's name. It's technically an UTMA. It's technically has their name on it, but it has you as the custodian of the account. because children are not allowed to do contracts under contract law in America. Okay? So you open a bank account, you do anything in a kid's name. 16 years old, you cannot, you can't do a contract. It's not binding. So you go open a mutual fund in the kid's name with you as the custodian. That's all an UTMA is. Now, it's taxed at the kid's rate, which is nothing until the mutual fund gets big enough that the income off of it is past their deductible, the standard deduction. Okay, and so you can get $10,000-$20,000 in there before you pay any taxes on it, but then you're going to pay taxes on it. So I paid taxes on the mutual funds that were in my kids' names once they got to a certain size. The kids did, and so it ends up with less money in the account because I paid taxes than I would have if it was in growing tax-free at a 529. And so there's really very little downside of doing the 529. That's my point. That's why I was being smart aleck about it.
And yeah, you're right. It sounds like that it's a better value. And then if they just don't go to college, because my husband's gun shy, his sister had $450,000 in student loan debt. And so he's very like, you're not going to have any student loan debt, but you're going to get scholarships. And if you don't go to college, you're not going to, if you drop out early or something, we don't want you wasting it. So,
yeah.
Well, if they can pull it out, if they don't.
In the current environment, with higher education having lost its shine with the epic student loan crisis and with how they've misbehaved during COVID, like they're trying to charge full tuition to do e-learning from home, and you don't even show up at the actual location, and that they want to charge full price, and people are going, I don't think I'm paying that for that. And so higher ed's kind of got a couple black eyes right now, and a lot of people are going, look, there's a whole bunch of people got a whole bunch of stupid butt degrees that aren't useful at all. And so there's a lot of people worried about, maybe but I don't think you ought to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think there's a valid use for higher education. Is it for everyone? No. And before I get a master's degree for $250,000 in sociology, I'm going to go get a welding certificate and make 3 times what a sociologist makes. Okay? And so, that's, I'm with people on that. But this idea that all higher ed is bad, we don't believe that.
Right. Yeah, I would challenge y'all to take that fear from the 450 and the bad experiences with higher education and turn it into motivation to save even more aggressively for the 529. Help set your kids up for success, have them give that savings to them so that they have it available, plus inspire them to go for scholarships, like you said, and be really motivated to own their own journey to higher education.
Yeah. You're right. The $450,000 in debt should lead you the other way to make you into a savings maniac. Right, that his sister had. So, yeah, but I guess he's paranoid about the whole process now. I get that. I understand that. That's why I'm addressing it. But, yeah, I think there's very little downside. And, and I do think there's a huge value to a usable 4-year degree. All 3 of my kids, 4-year degrees. Sharon and I, 4-year degrees. My father-in-law is very, very proud that of his 13 grandkids, 12 of them have 4-year degrees. He's very proud of that, and he should be. He should be. That's very good. And so, but again, we're not for useless degrees. We're certainly not for student loan debt. But none of that's necessary. So all of that to say, we had college funds. And we told our kids from the time they were little, this is your college fund, this is your college fund, this is your college fund, which presupposes that, by God, you're going to college.
Right.
It's kind of like drilled in. It's like a little bit of a brainwashing thing here, So, yeah, so I wasn't wringing my hands that they might not go because I really wasn't giving them a choice. So, but I'm an old school dad that way, so that's the way that works. Hey, good stuff. Thank you for calling, Miss Grace. That's a good question. I like talking about it. And we have the expert here, Christina Ellis, to talk about it. Ramsey personality joining me this hour on The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your wealth building, your work that you love in real, actual relationships. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Ethan and Delaney are with us. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Napoleon, Ohio. It's about a half hour south of Toledo.
Okay, not far from Bowling Green then.
Pretty darn close, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I actually have been to Bowling Green a time or two. And a good friend of mine is from there, Scott Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah, the ice skating guy.
Yeah.
So, cool. Well, welcome to Nashville. So, how much debt have you guys paid off?
$115,000.
Good. How long did that take?
17 months.
Way to go. And your range of income during that time?
Started around 65 and peaked around 205.
Whoa! What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a nurse.
I'm an insurance agent.
What happened to your income?
So when we first started the journey, Delaney was not working. She was finishing up school.
Oh.
And then about 3 months in after we paid off our house, but that's what the debt was. But
whoa!
Yeah.
Look at it, weird people. Yes!
But yeah, so we started the journey about 3 months, started working about 3 months after we started the journey. Took out the mortgage.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and so lots of nursing available, huh?
Yes, I picked up a lot of hours.
I could tell. And knocked the house out. What's the house worth?
Just over $200,000.
What do you got? How old are you two?
27.
26.
And they paid for a house.
That's incredible. So impressive.
Yeah, thank
What
you.
happened that got y'all started on this journey?
It's kind of interesting. We're going back to our first date, 4 or 5 years ago. But we started talking. We asked the right questions on our first date. Brought up Dave Ramsey, talking about finances and all that good stuff.
You two are a couple of romantics.
Exactly. but no.
Dave Ramsey on the first date? I didn't even talk about Dave Ramsey on the first date.
Exactly. But no, so that's kind of where it started. We were both in the right frame of mind and started our marriage out right. Followed the baby steps. We both had our own personal experiences of kind of going through your program and seeing how things worked. So kind of brought up right. And then got married in 2020, July. We bought our first house.
Wow. Right in the middle of COVID.
In the middle of COVID.
Why not?
So right when Delaney was finishing up school, she started working, picked up a ton of shifts. Work for both of us, going really well. We knew it would probably take about 5 to 7 years, like we had paid it off early. But actually last year around March or April around this time, we found out that Delaney was expecting.
Yay!
So
your all's life is awesome.
Oh yeah, just perfect. So so we kind of went through that. We wanted to pay it off early. It was actually when Delaney was coming home from work after one of those long shifts. She said, "I think we can do this, and before the baby comes here." I was like, yeah, you're full of it. I didn't think we would be able to. I'm the nerd. I was trying to crunch the numbers, said, I don't know if this will work out. But like I said, Delaney picked up a ton of shifts. I think people thought that, not that we were getting divorced, but if we were still together or not, because, we'd hang out with friends, hang out with family. She would not be there just because she'd be working all the time. So I have to give her a lot of credit for that.
You just game on, girl.
So,
you're like, you wanted that house paid off, that baby came, huh?
Yep, that was my goal, our goal.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, that's a nice thing, though, to be able to bring a baby home to a debt-free house, huh?
Yeah.
It's a different kind of feeling.
It definitely is. So
it's scary enough to drive with them in the car the first time.
We coming home from the hospital, actually, it was funny. We had a huge snowstorm, so usually the drive would take about 40 minutes from the hospital to get home. I think it took an hour and a half. I don't know if that was the weather. I think it was the weather, but it was just kind of crazy.
Plus you were driving a wee bit more careful than you usually do.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, y'all are such shining examples. You've done everything right. What would you tell people who think, I can't do this? This is too hard. What was the hardest part for you all?
Honestly, I mean, for me personally, I would say not seeing Delaney. There's a lot of sacrifices that, we both put in. I mean, more of her just picking up those extra shifts. I mean, I think there were 4 or 5 bonus contracts that, spanned, 6 weeks at a time picking up extra shifts. I mean, she was doing 60, 65 hours a week minimum.
While pregnant.
While pregnant.
I slowed down at the end, though.
Where's your Superman cape, girl? I mean, my gosh.
But no, she is the biggest reason why we're here. So we're very lucky for her.
Yeah.
Dang. Who were your biggest cheerleaders?
Definitely our parents, I
Family,
think.
yeah.
Like I said, Delaney went through the experience with her parents, so I think they were definitely big cheerleaders. My parents were big cheerleaders as well, my grandparents, so it's very cool.
Well, you guys have got an incredible head start.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no payments of any kind. You own your house free and clear. You're not even 30 years old. First baby's here. Life is good. 2 great careers. I mean, you guys are in amazing shape.
Yeah.
Very well done. I'm so proud of you guys.
No, thank you so much, Dale.
Such an honor to meet you. You're amazing. Very well done.
What's next? What's your next goal? You're so young. You've got all this time ahead.
We were just talking about, we'd love to travel, maybe take a couple of trips. We'd eventually like to build a house. But just kind of laying low. It's nice just not being able to have to talk about money or anything like that. I mean, we still talk about money, but just, the issues that, could arise. It's just, our marriage is great. Not that we struggled with that, but, no, it's just.
Well, she's home more now. That's good.
Yeah, for sure. And part-time at that too.
Yeah.
So, when she goes back, actually going to be going back here in a couple of weeks, off of maternity leave, but, she's part-time and we're even debating whether she'll go back entirely at all. So it's just very cool that we can be at that point in life to
Ding. I love it. Very, very well done. Well, we got a copy of the #1 bestseller, Baby Steps Millionaires, for you, because that's for sure the next chapter in your story. You are going there for sure. My goodness. Probably 3 or 4 years you're going to be there. It's pretty amazing. And also a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give to someone and rock their world, cause a holy ruckus out there somewhere. It's kind of what we do around here. So thanks for that. You guys are incredible. Very, very well done. All right. Are we going to put baby in the shot?
Yep.
We have to,
They
right?
start crying.
So how old is it? Tell us about
This is McCoy. He's almost 3 months old.
So
big 3 months old McCoy. Way to go, dude.
yeah, made actually the last house payment 2 weeks before he was born.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
So amazing. He has no idea how great his parents are. You guys are awesome, man. You've changed your family tree. What a great shot. We can just sit here and look at this for a minute.
It's so cute.
Norman Rockwell right here, man. I'm just telling you. Wow. Amazing. Well, we won't make him cry. You yell as loud as you want to yell, but you're not required to make him cry. That's not our goal here. Ethan and Delaney from the Toledo, Ohio area, and Mr. 3-month-old McCoy. Yeah, $115,000 paid off in 17 months, making $65,000 to $205,000. Lots of overtime, house and everything. They're not even 30. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free!
Yeah! Yes! This is how it's done. And if you can get that kind of start, oh my gosh.
Right? What a fantastic example. That's incredible.
Yeah, there's always, I spoke to a group of high schoolers this morning, local in our area here. I went by as a favor to a friend of mine that's the teacher, and he teaches our high school curriculum and has since it began, and really sharp high schoolers. But I'm talking to them and I'm thinking, this is so hard, this life thing, and this is so easy, this life thing. If you can just work. Delaney got it figured out. How you fix this? I just work. Yep. Well, you're pregnant. Yeah, well, I just work. Well, I want my house paid off. I know only one. Where's money come from? Work. Work. Just work. It's a thing, isn't it?
Yep. Wow. It's impressive. I feel so much inspiration from this young generation. I feel like often people, just Gen Z or millennials, and then you have people like this show up on the debt-free stage and just proves such a great example. It's so inspiring and exciting because it shows it can be done no matter what your age is.
Well, that's exactly right. And you're right. I do get inspiration. It's like you people out there that are, the old people like get off my lawn people or whatever, all you want to do is trash this other generation. I got news for you. There's some deadbeats in every generation, and there's some rock stars in every generation. And these people, there's rock stars in this generation. We see them all the time. America, our culture is in good hands when it comes to the quality of young people we're seeing coming through here every week and the stuff they're doing, how mature they are, how smart they are, how hard they're willing to work. You're going to be okay out there, boys and girls. It's going to be okay. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We appreciate you being here. Nathan is with us. Nathan is in Omaha, Nebraska. Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Hey, Dave. Pretty good. How are you, sir?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Love that answer. Long-time listener. Just wanted to get some advice in regards to a collection company. Yeah, the most fun people on the earth to deal with. Anyways, got a letter in the mail basically saying that, hey, notifying you that the law office, we're going to sue you if you don't respond within 20 days over a past due credit card bill for $625. All right. I was able to get a hold of them today, negotiated a little bit lower discount rate with monthly payments. Here's where it gets a little sticky. When I asked them, okay, how do I submit the payments? You guys want to use a debit card for auto pay, whatever. They said, we don't accept card payments. Okay. So I figured, okay, is it just over the phone or, do you have a website? No. They don't accept debit card payments at all. Period. The only way that you can send in payments is via check in the mail or on the website or over the phone, providing the routing number and account number for your checking account. Now, they did give me an alternative, which was mailing in a money order, but doing the math there, it wasn't, again, not a very large balance. Got it knocked down from $625 down to $550.
Why don't you just pay it?
Discount. Well, my household income after taxes is $1,600. My expenses are about $1,300.
Okay. Have a garage sale this weekend and pay it.
I don't have much to sell off. I even got rid of my car about 6 months ago because I got a nice little work-from-home job.
So you don't own a vehicle?
I do not. No, I decided to actually sell it to pay off some other student loan debt. So I had about $4,500 still with my associates that I paid off in full while I sold my car.
In Omaha, Nebraska?
Yes, sir.
How do you get around?
I work from home. I know,
but you have to leave home occasionally and go to the grocery store or...
Yeah. So I go to the grocery store just by picking I literally live about maybe an eighth of a mile away from my local grocery store. They're open till midnight. I just go over there, grab what I need every couple of days, and just carry it home.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
So I actually work for the billing department for a pretty big hospital in the state of Tennessee. I'm not going to mention who they are.
That's okay. Your job sucks.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, you make no money.
Yeah.
And thus the problem. I mean, you have an income crisis, and it's reflected in the fact that you can't even cover a $550 bill that's laying here. I'm not picking on you. I'm just telling you, look, there's two sides to this equation, the outgo side, the income side. You can't cut expenses far enough to prosper on $1,600.
Yeah.
So you've got to do some things to get your income up. That probably involves you saving up some money and getting you a car so that you can get around and go make some money, because you need some money. So I would change your strategy overall is what I'm saying. Now, as far as these people go, just call them back and tell them you're not going to be able to do it right now. Just tell them jump in the creek. You don't have any money. Okay. There's nothing they can get. You don't have anything.
Yeah.
I don't have any money, and when I get some money, I'll call you and just make you a settlement offer, and we'll just work it out, and I'll send you one check. But and then go about the business of getting your income up and get some money together, and then do it in one lump sum. We do not recommend doing payments with these goobs, because once they've got your bank information, they're going to clean your butt out, and you're going to be a problem, because you can tell a credit card collector's lying if their mouth is moving.
Yeah. So what do I do about this whole court summons thing? Because right now
there's not a court summons. They just threatened you.
Yeah.
They hadn't actually sued you.
Yeah.
Meaning they lied.
Okay.
They're going to sue you someday, but they're not going to sue you before you get yourself. Listen, a year from now, you can't be sitting where you're sitting. You understand that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I actually got another job offer. It's a standby offer for a claims processor with an insurance company, and that should be starting if the position becomes available. If somebody fails, I'll be getting that job started here in about a month and a half, and that's going to be about a 35% increase for my with my current income. So.
Well, I think with this amount of money, this $625, which is now $550, you can make that amount this weekend. Like, you can go around the neighborhood, see if you can mow lawns, offer to paint someone's house, even go to Target and get a job this weekend and work for the next few weeks. Like, you can tackle this pretty quickly.
I even contemplated going to the local plasma center and donating some plasma to knock out, because, hook me up to the machine, stick a needle on my arm, and help save a life and get paid for it. So I thought about even doing that.
Well, I that's okay to do if you want to do that. I don't ever tell people to do stuff I wouldn't do, because I don't do that. But I've done almost everything else that was legal and moral to go make some money. So Christina's right. Go make some money and pay this thing. And then here's the deal. Do not give them any money unless it's in writing, and never give them your bank information under any circumstances, because they lie. They will take $625 out of your account after you have it in writing and promised that it's $550, and you're not going to sue them for $200, and they know that.
Exactly. That was my main concern.
They're freaking crooks. Okay. 99% of them. They're horrible companies. We work with them all the time, and they're just horrible. So, no, you cannot trust them. And if you're out there and you're a credit card collector and you don't like what I'm saying, then go get a good job, and then you can like me. So, because your job sucks. So don't do this. So anyway, Christina's right. Go make some money. Clean this mess up and do it in one lump sum. And you can send them a money order. You can send them a prepaid debit card. They'll take that, believe me, if it's a lump sum one time. But do not give them access to your checking account ever in an adversarial situation like this, and do not give them any money until you have it in writing, and you keep a hard print. If it's an email, print it off, keep a hard copy with a copy of the receipt where you sent the money stapled to it in a file for the rest of your life, because they'll come back around, they'll forget. Or Joe that used to work here didn't have authority. Well, toughies, I got it in writing. And but you can't be like, I don't remember who I talked to. No, you got to have it in writing. And you got to have the receipt stapled to it for the rest of your life. But the bad news is that you have a old credit card debt. The good news is it's only $500, right?
Yeah, you can get this out of your life quick. Get these people behind you. These people are shady. This is stressful. You want to knock this situation out as quickly as possible. And like Dave said, keep records. Like, you just want to make sure these people don't come around and try to haunt you again.
I bet you there's a lot of stuff you could do in 48 hours that's legal and moral that would make that kind of money. I mean, you just put your head to it out there. Your point, that's absolutely valid. I love that. All right, Patrick is in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up? Sure.
My question is, so my company, I'm on a pension, but they just started offering a 401k too, and it has a Roth 401k.
Good.
So I have where I can pick my retirement, what age I want to be when I retire. I have the target date, and then I have where I can actually pick. So I was wondering, when I'm actually going to pick my mutual funds, do I go lifetime of the mutual fund or only go back like 10 years? Because lifetime is about 8.5, and then at 10 years, it's sitting around like 11 or 12%.
Either one's fine. I mean, if you got a 10-year track record of 11 or 12, it's probably a fine fund. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I would not use target dates. Target dates adjust the portfolio without your input based on, asset allocation theory, which I don't believe in.
Okay.
I don't adjust my portfolio. I just keep investing. I'm 61. I'm investing in the same things I was investing in when I was 31 because they work. I don't need to adjust it. Well, you're getting old. I don't care. I'm just keep investing, It's because it works. So, and if I'm 61, there's a high probability when I'm 91, 30 years from today, that I'm going to need some money. So I need to keep investing aggressively. So yeah, pick the 4 funds that we talk about. Don't use target dates. And yes, a 10-year track record is just fine. Work for you?
Yep, that works for me. That sounds great.
All right, good stuff. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, my co-host today. James Childs in the booth, Ben on the board, and Kelly in the booth, and Zach hiding behind the monitor. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, and we'll be back. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and live with amazing, real relationships, not virtual ones. And it's working. We're glad you're here, America. Christina Ellis, best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about building wealth, doing work you love, and high-quality relationships. We're glad you're here. 888-825-5225. All right, so there is a lot of data hitting out there. This from Fox Business. Americans are quickly losing confidence in the U.S. economy, according to a new survey published this week reflecting heightened concerns among consumers about sky-high inflation and the rising price of everyday goods. A Gallup survey published Wednesday shows Americans have low levels of confidence in the economy. What's more, most Americans expect the economy to deteriorate further. About 76% said the economy is getting worse, compared to 20% who believe it is improving. So, Christina, what we have to do when we see stuff like this is there's 3 or 4 things going on as far as I'm concerned. Thing one is there is some real inflation. Thing two is not going to kill you. It's bad. It's ugly when you fill up your car and you have a heart attack when you look at the price. It's ugly when you consider that house prices are doing what they're doing in a lot of areas. It's not going to kill you. I don't like it. I don't want it to stay around. I don't think it's going to stay around. That's thing one. Thing two is the news media, particularly our friends at Fox, want to tell you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again how bad the economy is. Because if there's one thing that will get a politician thrown out of office, of either party, it is that the economy is bad. So if you want to dump all of the Democrats in the street at the midterm, the best way to do that is convince everyone that the economy is bad. So there's a little bit of an agenda here. Just a wee bit. And so, yes, the economy's bad. And yes, there's some things going on, but the news media, left and right and confused, whatever they are, they make all of their viewership based on fear porn. If we can make you afraid of COVID and think you're going to die, if we can make you afraid of the economy and just keep peddling the fear porn, you will keep dialing in. You can't stay away from it. You can't take your eyes off the train wreck. And so then your adrenaline spikes, your chemistry in your body starts changing, your heart rate changes, your eyes dilate, you stay pissed off all the time or afraid all the time, and it keeps you coming back. It's the same thing as a tornado warning by the weather people. So when I was a kid, we were like, oh, there's a tornado. And now we shut down schools because there might be a tornado 3 weeks from now. So it's a different world. But there's a little bit of all that going on. So, when you hear that the economy is bad or that Americans have lost confidence in the economy, our message would be, it sucks right now, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think even going with the analogy of a storm, if there's a hurricane coming, what do? You batten down the hatches. You make sure everything is in place and solidified. So I hope people can take that kind of uneasy feeling they feel in their stomachs when they see that news article, when they see the fear porn, and they go, you know what? We need to make sure our financial house is in order. We need to really make sure we're on a budget, that we're paying off our debt, and that we're saving for an emergency. Because, if something does happen, the more you have your financial house in order, the less of a hit you'll take. And that's why your book is called Financial Peace. We want you to feel at peace regardless of what the storm looks like.
Yeah. So the good news about the storm is you can use it as a warning to get your crap together, right? The bad news is you don't want to overreact, and because people go cray-cray when they go down these rabbit holes. I mean, they just, when you're in panic mode, your critical thinking skills shut down. Panic mode is run, right? And, your brain says, get out of the way of the car. You're getting ready to be smashed, right? And you're not supposed to have a critical thinking about, I wonder what that fender will do to my left leg. We don't want to have a discussion about this. Get out of the dadgum road, But that's what your brain is designed to do that. Deloney talks about that all the time. So the thing is this, guys, when you start seeing the stuff on the news, just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Some of it is politically driven. Some of it is, if we can keep you upset, we can keep you as a viewer. And some of it is real. And you kind of got to parse through that a little bit and go, okay, yeah, gas is really $5, and that was really Biden on Biden's desk. He really screwed this whole energy thing up bad. Supply chains all screwed up, and that drove prices up on a bunch of stuff. Wasn't Biden's fault. He didn't do that. He didn't cause the pandemic, and he didn't cause the supply chain mess up after the pandemic. Could he have done some things to help? Probably, but he couldn't have stopped it from happening. Some of this stuff is just the result of, it's the aftertaste. It's the tsunami that came ashore after the earthquake at sea. And that's some of that is what's going on there. But the energy stuff's 100% on him. He just screwed that up. Of course, he has no idea. But in the name of being woke or left or energy free or whatever, or whatever he's trying to do, get everybody in to buy an Elon Musk car or whatever he's trying to do, he's screwing up the economy. Because here's the thing, gas doubling goes into the truck that delivers the bread and into the price of the bread, therefore. Okay, so this is a problem. So he's contributing to it. So he's going to get his party thrown out for various reasons, and that's probably a great thing. So it's okay. It's going to work out. But the point is, you cannot read these articles and go into freak out mode.
Absolutely not. Yeah. You got to really focus on the controllables. What can you control? You can't control macroeconomics of the U.S. government. You can't control whether gas prices are more expensive next week, but you can control your budget. You can adjust things as necessary so that your family can afford your lifestyle and you can afford the things that you need to pay for. Focus on the controllables.
Yeah. I'll never forget watching a local weather forecaster, and her voice was going up. The octaves were going up. And if you're in this, it's not like a beagle chasing a rabbit, right? I mean, she's just going crazy. There's a tornado coming! And I swear the woman said, if you have a football helmet, put a football helmet on and go sit in the shower if you don't have a safer place to hide. And so somewhere I've got visualized this redneck sitting in a shower with a football helmet on because this woman said to do this. And I'm just thinking, this is out of control, guys. If a tornado hits your trailer, football helmet in the shower ain't gonna cut it. It's just not gonna. It's just not gonna work.
I may or may not still wear the football helmet, but
unbelievable. All right, so this is the world we live in, though, and so you have to keep. My point is, you have to keep your wits about you and make good, solid decisions. Yes, you got $5 gas. Yes, house prices are out of control right now. And so what do you do? I mean, used cars are going up. What kind of world do we live in? You know, so is right now a good time to buy a used car? No! It's a horrible time to buy a used car. This is the Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. We got the football helmet down off the shelf because she's convinced me that she's the one that would wear the football helmet in the event of a tornado while I would be outside looking for the tornado.
I may or may not have one for me and the kids.
You may or may not have. Oh, we have tornado helmets at your house.
Yes, we do. I got them for my babies. I got them for the husband. Except for my husband is out in the street searching for the tornado.
You really did do that. You're not joking, are you?
No.
True confessions.
True confessions.
In front of 20 million people. You just told people you have a tornado helmet for your kids.
In my defense, the last tornado that went through...
I don't think there's any defense for this.
I live in Tennessee. What can I say?
There's a lot of things you can say. So do I. Well, the good news is that we have a very diverse group of Ramsey personalities. We have the football helmet wearing ones and the non-football helmet wearing ones in the event of a storm. So now you get advice across the board.
Hey, be prepared, y'all. Be prepared.
Be prepared. Yeah, buy a house with a basement. Oh, my God. Dig a storm cellar. At least you'd be safe. The football helmet's a joke. Oh, my gosh. I have tornado helmets for my children. I don't know, Christina. I probably should have known this before I hired you.
Hey, we don't have a basement yet. We don't have a basement yet.
You sold your house. You're homeless. What are you talking about?
Right?
Oh, I love it. Just too fun. All right, Lexi is with us in Iowa. Hi, Lexi. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband and I have been looking at a piece of land outside of our town for a while now. Long-term goal is to build and have a little hobby farm and garden for our 3 young girls. So this past year, my neighbor's house sold for a lot more money than we would have expected. And so that kind of gave me the courage to contact the landowners of that really beautiful piece of land we want. And they're actually willing to sell to us. So it kind of all happened, in an instant. And now we're kind of caught at what do we do? To purchase this land, I'd want us to sell our house and live in my parents' rental house to save some money before building. But my husband's leery that we'd get stuck there for land or housing market prices. So do we sacrifice and move twice and go through lots of hassle to get our dreams faster? Or should we kind of slow down, cool the jets, and just try to save where we're at?
So how much is the land?
The land is $100K.
And how much is your house going to sell for?
It would sell for $410 around
and
there.
What do you owe on it?
We owe $250.
Okay. What's your household income?
Around $170,000.
Why would you not buy the land and start construction immediately with a construction loan?
Because I just don't want to have to pay for a house payment and.
Well, you're paying a
the
house
land
payment
and
now.
I know, it's just scary. It's a lot of money. And
No, I'm
we've got
saying
three little babies
sell
to
the house.
support.
Sell the house.
Oh, sell it. Okay.
Go rent something. Start construction on the new house. Buy the land. Start construction on the new house and move in a year.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm just hypersensitive to save, and be as comfortable as we can be, because that's my husband's fear, is that we'll get stuck in my parents' rental
You're not, well, your husband's right, and because you're being. So here's the thing. Okay, you get $200 out of your house. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, put $100 on the land. You get another $100 for your house. Okay, and then so what price range of home would you build?
We would say like $300 to $400.
Okay, so let's call it $300. You put $100 down. You got a $200,000 mortgage. You got a $200,000 mortgage now. What's your problem?
I know, you're so right. Okay, thanks. We needed a third party so I could get my football helmet off.
And Christina didn't even help. Come on, Christina, get in here.
It wasn't supposed to be this easy.
Well, if you do a $400,000 or $300,000 house, $400,000 house instead, you're going to be up $100 in mortgage. You have a $300,000 mortgage with $170,000 income, which is still okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
But here's the thing, okay? What you want to do is you want to get these things lined up. You're now a project manager, and the project is get into the brand new house on the land. Okay. Now, what are the elements of the project? And let's line up the dominoes, and then push them all at once. Okay. So I'm not putting your house on the market today. I'm going to buy the land with as long a closing out there as I can. How far away can I make the closing? As long as they'll let you, 6 months, a year, I don't care, okay? Then I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to have it under contract, no contingencies. We're going to close on it. I'm going to start drawing the thing, getting the builder, getting construction all lined up, and then I'm going to sell your house and go brrr, and let the dominoes all fall down. We break ground. We close on the land. We break ground on the new house. Everything's all done, but you can't just say, okay, I'm going to go buy the land and close on it today. You haven't sold your house. You can't close on it today. And you can't then take a year drawing the house and another year finding the builder.
Right. I didn't even think about pushing out the closing sum, so it's under contract at least, and it'll give us a little bit of time.
Yeah, as long as you can. I mean, so that you can get the plans drawn, get the construction loan lined up, the builder lined up, and then you go sell your house, close on the land, start the new house. Boom. Push the
so I can save. That's why we push it out.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing all this, you can save even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay for them to live with her parents temporarily?
They're not in with their parents. It's a rental house.
Okay. Get a rental.
It's her parents' rental house, right?
Yeah.
You're not living with your mom and dad, right?
Heck no, that would never fly.
Speaking of football helmets, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just they own a rental house they'll let you live in for free for a little while.
Yep.
And your husband doesn't want to get stuck there. And his fear of being stuck there is brought on by your penchant for freezing everything till you saved up all the money.
Yeah, he's not dumb.
Yeah. And so his fears are valid, not because it's a fear of the situation, but he's afraid you're going to freeze up and he's not going to be able to get you to start this house.
Right.
So if you want this all to go down, you're going to have to line up the dominoes, and then he's going to be okay, because you literally could be in the new house in 14 months from today, assuming your builder is efficient and you don't try to build the Taj Mahal, but you might not be able to get that efficiency with supply chain issues. And I don't know. It also depends on how many helmets you have to buy, because they're in short supply, I hear.
We already got ours, so we're good.
You got yours. You're good. Okay. Just making sure you're covered here, Christina.
We're prepared. We're ready.
Oh, I love it. This is too much fun. Way too much fun. All right, imagine the energy of a jam-packed arena filled with people ready to experience what it means to live life to the fullest. Picture all of your favorite speakers together on one stage, empowering you with the tools, the principles that will create unstoppable momentum in your life. That is Smart Conference. Smart Conference is back. It's been 3 years, and we are so pumped to get this event going. Christina will be speaking, George Camel, Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, me, Craig and Amy Groeschel from Life Church will be doing a session on marriage. We're going to talk about leadership, money, personal growth, mental health, relationships, your career. All of it's going to happen. It's October the 22nd in Dallas. It's all day long, and if you come to the Smart Conference at the end of the day, you will be smart. That's why we called it that. So check it out, guys. It's only $39. We should charge $339 for this. It is an incredible lineup, an incredible full-day event. You cannot beat this. Go to RamseySolutions.com. Get your tickets before they are gone. It is not yet sold out. It is in October, but it will sell out, and it will sell out early. So be sure, guys, that you get this done. Smart Conference. It's going to be fun, Christina.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I'll pay you double if you'll go on stage with a football helmet. It's a no-brainer. This is The Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. I am Dave Ramsey, your host in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Keith is with us. Hey, Keith, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve, sir. And here to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
$90,000, $220.
Wow. And how long did this take you?
3 years and 8 months.
3 years and 8 months. Very good. And your range of income during that time?
Started at $62,000 and cleared this year at $94,000.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I am an auditor for the state of Pennsylvania.
All right. Cool. Good for you. Good for you. So the T-shirt says debt-free since 2021.
Yes, so I completed my debt-free journey in November. The shirt was actually a gift. My one side hustle was I was a delivery driver for Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay.
And the operator there got this shirt for me after I finished. So shout out to Chick-fil-A, Lindell Road in Harrisburg, Mr. Brad. Thank you for the support, while I was working there delivering God's chicken.
I love it. Jesus Chicken got me out of debt. I like it. This is good, man. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
Very cool. What kind of debt was the $90,000?
A little bit of everything. Car loan, medical debt, credit cards, IRS debt, and a little bit of everything.
Okay. What made you decide to do this 3 years and 8 months ago?
Well, it truly started in 2017. I went to church and heard FPU, being advertised. And I took the class 2017, and I was very Dave-ish for the first 14 months. In fact, towards the end of the year, my car broke down, and instead of fixing it, I ended up financing a car. So,
That's more than ish. That's just not at all.
It was stupid. Yeah. Yes, it was. And then in March of 2018, I got an email from my coordinator after I took the class asking who wanted to jump in and help lead. I'm like, I need a kick in the pants, so let me get in. Since then, I've now led 11 FPU classes.
Whoa!
So I lead them at LCBC in Harrisburg.
Yeah, I've been there, spoke. Yeah, wonderful, Pastor.
Yeah.
You guys got a great place.
Yeah, I was there when you spoke, and then was there at the event afterwards when you and Chris spoke.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, very cool, man. 11 classes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, nothing make you do it like leading it, right?
That is exactly right. And it's so much fun when I'm leading it to be able to tell everybody, look, I'm working the same plan. It works. You can show the debt-free screams all you want. You can, show everything on YouTube all you want. But to be able to live it out and show everybody, that's, the most powerful thing.
That's amazing. So you're constantly leading people through this. What do you tell people is the key to getting out of debt?
I always hear people say the budget's key, and everything. But to me, the biggest key was having a strong why, which is my daughters. I have a 16 and 18-year-old daughters. And, before I started this, I'm an accountant in my full-time job, and my finances were a wreck. It was embarrassing. And I wanted better from them. And my oldest will be a senior right now, graduates soon, is going off to college in the fall. And I knew if I was going to get there, I had to clean everything up. So, they're my driving force in everything I've done.
Yeah. Way to go, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be free?
It feels so good. When I made that last payment, both my daughters were there, their best friends were there, and as soon as I hit the button, everybody cheered, and I just felt like such a relief off my shoulders. Now my paychecks come in, they go into my savings, I can do things I haven't done in years. Back down here to travel to Nashville and hang out with a bunch of friends. So
yeah. So what's the story on this posse? We've been hanging out with this posse for a couple of days here.
Yeah.
I've met everybody a couple times, and you guys have quite a thing going. What is the deal here?
So, back in 2017, a bunch of people were like, I think it was mentioned on the show, you should start a dating site. Well, some people took that and ran, and we have 2 different Facebook groups for singles who follow your principles.
Oh my gosh!
So, one is Dave Ramsey Online Dating, Dave Ramsey Followers Online Dating, and Dave Ramsey Dating Group. So we've got about 2,500 members in each group.
I am not responsible for anything that goes on in this website. Oh my gosh, because I'm certainly not getting a commission on it either, from what I can tell.
We charge huge fees, the whole thing and nothing. So
yeah, okay. Well, I get a percentage of that. Okay, good.
So yeah, So
this is some of that gang.
Yeah, this is some of this gang. This is some of my biggest. Besides my kids, these are some of my biggest supporters.
Obviously, they came in from everywhere.
I know, and I've told them the last couple of days how much I appreciate it. To be able to. Being a single dad and being able to do this kind of stuff, you need support. I've got support from my kids, my friends at home, my church. But having a bunch of people like this that are like-minded and following the principles and also struggling through, the single life or dating, it's such a encouragement and help.
Yeah, because it's wild out there, man.
It is.
It's crazy. And community, having community around you when you're doing life, period, but doing the whole financial thing, it's just necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next?
The next thing is, looking to possibly buy the house I've been renting the last 4 years. Looking to send my daughter to school debt-free. She wouldn't take FPU when we had the huge, push at church, but I'm like, fine, I'm just going to pound the principles into your head at home. So that's what I've done. And it's my oldest, like her one class she had this year, I think it was foundations at school. So she was the teacher's dream. She knew all the answers.
Oh man.
And she comes home telling me how stupid some of the kids are because they're fine with debt. Like, all right, something's sinking in. So,
hey, this is working. I like this plan. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
I love seeing your community over there and the way they're smiling and beaming. It really does just show.
Well, they've been hanging around here a couple of days. They're all having fun. Yeah. It's a fun group.
Oh, we're having a blast. We may be back tomorrow. We haven't decided yet.
Okay. Well,
come on.
You're more than welcome. The cookies are still free,
and they're still delicious. So
yeah, it's all good. Well, you guys have been fun. It's been fun talking to all of you at the breaks and everything. And now that I know the history on the whole thing, it makes more sense. So, it was kind of random before.
Well, there was a group of us down here in 2018 also.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had, back then we actually had shirts made up and everything that had different slogans on them and everything. So.
Wow. You guys are a little scary.
Oh, we're very scary. It's all good. Very scary, but very supportive.
I'm kidding with you. It's all great, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I am proud of your gang hanging out with you and supporting you. That makes a huge difference. You can do so much more when you got people that are walking with you and holding you up when you're weak and smacking you around when you're trying to do the wrong thing. You just got to have people that love you in your life, man.
Yeah.
It's just a good thing.
Love you enough to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Amen.
Yep.
So, very good stuff. We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very well done. We've got a copy of I'm sorry. Almost called it Everyday Millionaires. Baby Steps Millionaires. That book I wrote. There it is, yeah. Baby Step Millionaires, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth and How You Can Too. And that's your next chapter in your story for sure, my man. Without a doubt, Keith, that's where you're going. And a copy of Total Money Makeover. You can give it away in your class maybe as a reward for somebody doing something. Thank you so much for leading so many FPU classes. It's rewarding, but it doesn't happen without people like you doing it. So thank you.
It's amazing. The fun thing I like to do during my classes is we put out a jar throughout the 9 weeks, and I tell everybody, if you feel led to leave a tip, go for it. What we'll do in week 9 then, with the outrageous generosity, we order pizza, and then everything we've collected in that tip jar, we tip the delivery driver.
Oh, fun!
So like this last class, we tipped $300 to the delivery driver. So
this delivery driver's going, hey, if that church thing comes up again, I'm going to take the pizza. Yeah.
That's why I try to move it around so they don't anticipate what's going on. So
that's good. Very cool. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, Keith from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. $90,000 paid off in 3 years and 8 months, making 62 to 94. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free!
Yeah! Woohoo! Well done, sir. Very well done. Oh, man, that's so much fun. How great is that? Very cool.
Yeah, the look on his face, I felt that in my soul. That was amazing.
Good. This is the Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jackson is in Tampa, Florida. Hi, Jackson. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, got a question regarding the mortgage. I know you guys talk about, I have no debt, and I know you talk about putting 15% towards investments and then the rest going towards your mortgage. My wife and I are incredibly risk tolerant. Lost about $50,000 in our mutual funds over the past month, and still just sold my car, invested that money straight into the stock market because they're on sale. So I think that the math says investments. You're obviously a very successful man, so I'm not going to argue with you, but I'd like to genuinely know why do you go with that approach versus the investments if you're risk tolerant?
Well, risk tolerance has to do with what your emotions will allow you to do without going into freak out mode.
Sure.
Okay. And so someone who has a very low risk tolerance can become a poor investor based on the fact that their low risk tolerance causes them to not take enough risk. Agreed?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Someone who has too high a risk tolerance can cause them to be a poor investor because they take risky investments that end up losing more than they make because they live out on the edge.
Yeah, I'm 99% mutual funds. I'm 1% in football helmets. So like I'm in. I mean,
for the score.
Stock market and
for
international
the score.
Stock market.
I like it. Oh, this is so great. We have a new measure of things. This is awesome. Born on the air today. I love it. That's Pat Jackson. Jackson, you get the award. You could go do whatever you want after that. So, no, I'm kidding. All right. So, yeah, but my point is, okay, so I grew up in the real estate business, and one of the things you do in the real estate business is they take your risk meter and they break it with a hammer. Real estate people have complete risk tolerance. We're idiots. We're idiots. We don't even know there's risk, okay? And that's what caused me to go broke, because I was not measuring risk. So here's what ends up happening. Debt equals risk. More debt equals more risk. Less debt equals less risk. It adds risk to the portfolio. You're saying I can emotionally tolerate that. That's one discussion. Another discussion, though, is what is the fastest route to wealth, regardless of risk tolerance. Okay? What's the fastest route to wealth? And within that, then, okay, we've got to discuss, can I stomach that with my risk tolerance? Do I have enough risk tolerance to go that route? The fastest, surest route to wealth, not just, and most likely. So I would go back to something like the 10,167 millionaires we studied. And the number of them that said, because I had a high risk tolerance, I kept a mortgage the whole time and I invested all the money. And today I have $1 million in mutual funds, or I have $2 million in mutual funds, and I owe $600,000 on my house. The number of them that said that was less than 10%. 90+% said, I got my house paid off and I dumped everything in mutual funds in my 401ks. Okay, so the practical facts are the normative way, the most likely way, the highest probability way, according to the data, to build wealth is to invest into mutual funds and to get the house paid off. Instead of, because otherwise you would say, all right, I'm going to borrow as much as I can borrow on the house all the time. And every so often I'm going to refinance it and throw all of that money with a cash out and stay mortgaged up to my eyeballs.
Yeah.
If the concept worked, you would do that. But the problem with that is that it affects other things in the unseen, and that is that the borrower is slave to the lender. You make different decisions in your life when you don't have a house payment. About your career.
Yeah.
It puts different stresses on your relationships. You treat your children different. There's different levels of health issues when there's no debt versus if there's debt. Regardless of risk tolerance, all of those things end up applying out there in the real world.
Yeah.
I keep going back to the car. You said you sold your car to invest. Do you need a car?
So no, I don't. That was just I was able to sell my car. It was a 2008 Honda Fit. I sold it for $300 more than I bought it for 5 years ago. And so I bought an electric bike and I take that to work. I'm only 3 miles from work. The problem is I do live in, Florida, so I'm going to start sweating here soon. But no, my wife and I felt like we've got our 2015 minivan and like we can be a one-car family.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that was more. Well, I guess I'm having a little bit of trouble wrapping my mind around the math of it, but maybe I need to let that math
I don't think
go.
The math, here's how the math works, all right? In graduate level studies in finance, or maybe even in a good school in the senior year level, we are taught to, Christina and I were taught to analyze two different mutual funds. Okay, an aggressive growth stock mutual fund has a measure of risk called a beta. The higher the beta, the higher the risk. The higher the peaks and valleys if you chart it, the more volatile it is, okay? High beta, more risk, okay? Low beta, less risk. And so you take an aggressive growth with a high beta and maybe a 2.5 beta or something like that, and then you take a growth in income that might have a 0.8 beta, less than 1 beta. A 1 beta is the S&P 500, what the market does, just to give you an example.
Okay.
So here's how the math works. If you, in order to compare those two, they have different volatility, so comparing them apples to apples is naive. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So the way you mathematically adjust for it is there's an inverse formula where the beta is flipped on its head in an inverse fraction, so that the beta reduces, the higher beta reduces the return of the risky investment, and the lower beta raises the return of the lower investment, so that after adjusted for risk mathematically, you can compare these apples to apples. Does that make any sense?
It does. I knew you were smarter than I was.
And so it's just what I was taught academically. I'm not a genius.
That's good.
So the thing is, what has never happened though, we're taught that in the financial world, Christina, but we're not taught to do that with debt. And so we compare a house with a mortgage equally to a house without a mortgage, or an investment property with a mortgage equally to an investment property without a mortgage, and we do not apply the increased risk, a beta, to the math formula. And so that's what I mean by real estate people, their risk meter's broken. They don't analyze for risk, and we don't mathematically adjust for risk. And so when we add the beta idea or concept to your question, it says you are taking more risk, so we should put a higher beta on your plan, a lower beta on my plan, and when we risk adjust mathematically, our plans are going to be fairly equal.
Okay. That's helpful. I really appreciate it.
Cool. I don't know if that made any sense or not. Something like a barrel of fish hooks, but it is the truth. That's the academic way of approaching it. The spiritual way of approaching it is the borrower is slave to the lender. 100% of the references in the Bible to debt say debt is stupid. It's not a sin. You're a slave. You're a fool. You're impulsive. It always says that. So if the Bible says, and I'm a Christian, and if the Bible says negative things about debt, it doesn't say it's a sin, doesn't say I'm going to hell if I get a MasterCard. It's not a salvation issue. But if spiritually my Heavenly Father is saying in His handbook there's nothing good about debt, then I have to read that and believe it if I'm a person of faith.
Absolutely.
And then I can also go over here and use my brain and use a beta. And either way, I come to the same conclusion.
Yep. That's such a great way of meshing those two things together.
Yeah, it's... But I actually was speaking to a graduate level group at Vandy one time and walked them through that on the math idea, and they're like looking at me like, I've never heard that before. And I'm like, well, it's because nobody teaches it. Nobody talks about debt equals risk, so you need to factor a beta into it, a measure of risk mathematically into it. And when you put in a measure of risk mathematically into it, it takes away the advantages of debt. And guess what? We all know that because when you're debt-free, you build wealth faster, so duh. That's kind of the way this whole thing works. It's an interesting discussion. I appreciate his question.
Yeah, that's great.
Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality. James Childs, our producer. And Zach and Kelly also in the booth. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, and we'll be back. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. This hour, we're going to take your calls about your life and your money, and we're going to particularly also concentrate on going to college debt-free. It's a financial literacy month this month, And we're doing a bunch of things to celebrate financial literacy around here right now at Ramsey. We'll be talking about that through the hour. But if you have questions about college, you have questions about paying off student loans, you have questions about going to school debt-free, this would be your hour. We're going to hold open a couple of lines just for you guys. Christina is an expert in that area for sure. Probably knows more about it than anybody else in this building right now. And so we'll take your calls. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Christina is our latest Ramsey personality to join the team. She had a best-selling book before she came here, Confessions of a Scholarship Winner, where she outlined how she got $500,000 for scholarships and got a degree from Vanderbilt University and a follow-up master's degree from Belmont. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay. Got it wrong last time I was on the air. I got it backwards. I had you getting your master's at Vandy, I think, last time.
I mean, that's cool, too.
Either way, it'll work. But except for it has the inconvenient thing of not being true. But, yeah. So, anyway, you were able to gather up a lot of scholarship money. You wrote a best-selling book about it. And so we know we have proof positive sitting next to me that you can go to college on scholarships. But there's a lot of other things that enter into you going to school debt-free or sending your kid to school debt-free. First, it begins with a mindset.
Yep, absolutely. I'm so thankful my freshman year of high school, my mom had a real conversation with me about money and the realities of what I'd be responsible for after graduation. You know, a lot of students, they get to senior year and the first person they talk to about money with is somebody trying to sell them a student loan. And that's just not okay. They haven't had a lot of experience with debt or running a budget or anything like that. And so it's so important to have these money conversations early on. Like, we want parents to be the first people talking to their kids about money.
Yeah, and talking to them with a different mindset. The mindset is, okay, let's just draw a line in the sand. We're not borrowing money for college.
Period.
End of statement.
Yep.
Now, how do we go to college?
Yep.
Okay, and there's 3 or 4 things that enter into it at that point. A, you're probably working. You didn't have to. You got $500,000 in scholarships. But most of us, when we were in college, we worked. And it's not child abuse. And your snowflake won't melt. They can go to school.
In fact, it's good for you. There's actually studies that say that students who work while they're in college are actually more successful academically. I think having that discipline of having to show up and have structure to your schedule is a good thing on many levels.
Yeah. I was talking to a college coach the other day. I was having breakfast with a college coach, and he was saying that assuming the student has gray matter, you know, that the athletes typically have a higher GPA because they also have to manage their time because they have a job. It's called being an athlete, and it takes up a lot of time versus people like me that went to school and all I did was go to school and work, and then people that don't even work, they just play beer pong. I mean, it's just, you know, it just goes downhill. And so you know, this idea that you're not going to be able to get through school if you work is ridiculous. I worked 40 to 60 hours a week when I was in school, and I got through in 4 years. So I mean, I lived off campus. It can be done. It can be done. But, I mean, I was a little business nerd. I was a little, you know, had my little time management system. I'm selling real estate, you know, 18 years old. I mean, I was way, you know, I was an old man in a little kid's body. But so that's different. I understand that. And I don't want to be a nerd like that. Well, I know, but I don't want you to be $100,000 in debt either. So maybe work is good, okay?
And you get experience. So you walk away from college with that much more experience under your belt. A lot of employers, one of the first things they ask, what's your experience? And it's like, you've already got that done while you're in college.
Yeah, and you've experienced some workplace things where you go, you know what, I don't want to work for that guy. People will act like that. I don't want to be around somebody that treats me that way. And so when you go in for an interview, you can kind of smell that a little bit, you know, and you pick a better job than if you just go in cold and everything looks wonderful because I don't know anything, right? So, yeah, working is good. Getting scholarships is good. And you talk about that, of course, a lot. It is one of the key elements of your expertise as you came to us. And so talk about how to get scholarships.
Yeah, well, I won over $500,000 in scholarships going into college. And man, I treated it like a part-time job when I was in high school. I mean, when you do the math on the amount of money I earned per hour, it was completely worth it. I was making over like $1,000 per hour when you factor in how many hours I put into applications versus how much money I got. So, you know, if a student spends 2 hours filling out an application and they win $1,000, that's like making $500 per hour. Where else can you make that kind of money in high school? So I encourage people to really take this process seriously. Start as soon as you can.
It's hard, though.
It is hard.
You have to scratch and claw and dig them up, and they're more rare, I think, than they used to be now. Do you think?
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of them, but you just have to really decipher through them and decide which ones are the real ones, which ones apply to you.
Some of them are just clickbait. They're just trying to get your name and stuff. They're just trying to collect you and pull you into a SoFi student loan or something, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are what they call sweepstakes scholarships, which is basically like a marketing ploy. They're trying to get your email so they can sell you something else. And I usually recommend either avoid those or don't take them as seriously. Whenever you're filling out scholarship applications, I recommend you get a separate email address because some of them can send you quite a bit of spam. But make sure you actually check that email address because I've talked to several scholarship programs who have actually given out a scholarship and the person didn't follow up. They didn't check their email. They weren't on top of it. So with every step in this process, I want you to be very intentional. Be intentional about building your resume throughout high school. So one of the beautiful things about my mom telling me freshman year of high school that I was on my own for college was I started thinking about scholarships my freshman year. So I started reading a bunch of books and just interviewing alumni from my high school asking, what did you do to stand out in the scholarship application process? And I learned that a lot of them took on leadership roles. They were super involved in extracurricular activities. They volunteered. And so I started thinking through, what can I do to stand out in the application process?
None of your scholarships were academic or athletic.
They factored in because merit-based scholarships, they factor in those elements.
Right, but it wasn't because you were like the valedictorian.
Right. My test scores were not the best. I was not the top in my class, and that's one of the encouragements I give to people is that you don't have to be perfect to win scholarships. When you really think about it, the people who give out scholarships, it can be anyone. So there are people who literally had B averages and went on to be successful, and now they've created scholarships for people with B averages. So it's like there are scholarships given away for almost anything and everything. You got to find the ones that fit you.
You're actually talking about me. I have a 2.97 average, and I give out scholarships. So, okay, all right, I'll just go with that. Okay. Oh, I love it. Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host. It's a financial literacy theme hour. We're talking about going to college without any debt. You want to talk about it, we'll let you in right now. The phone number is 888-825-5225.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. Christina, one thing that we all share in common, older, young, regardless of the region of the country you're from, almost every one of us can point back in our years and see a teacher's face that changed our life, that impacted the trajectory of our life. Teachers are a big deal. So part of our Financial Literacy Month to celebrate our high school curriculum being in about 50% of the high schools, 48% of the high schools in America, teaching our high school curriculum right now. Part of the way we're celebrating that is a teacher appreciation giveaway. We're giving away $5,000 to 2 different teachers in cash. You do not have to be teaching our curriculum to win. You do have to be an actual teacher, not like I taught my dog to sit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you actually teach like in a classroom and stuff. People get confused about these things. We have to clarify. But and so if you're a homeschool teacher and you have 1 child, you're not a teacher. That's not what we're talking about. I appreciate you doing that. That's a wonderful thing. That's your choice. That's cool. I'm talking about teachers in the classroom, and this is who we want to give this money to. We want to say thank you to you guys. $5,000, and then we're going to give 3 more teachers $1,000 each. The giveaway will happen in just a couple of days on April the 30th. And so you need to go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher. You teachers do, no purchase is necessary, and register. And this is brought to you by the documentary that just won the #1 documentary this year by the Webby Awards. And that is our documentary on student loan debt called Borrowed Future. Borrowed Future. All right, our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Blinds.com has a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Rebecca in Pennsylvania. I have 2 kids, both in high school. One is college bound, but I don't believe the other is. Is it fair that we pay for school for one while the other doesn't get anything? Gosh, that's a tricky question, but I personally would say that it is, especially if that money was specifically set aside for education and you've been very clear about that. You know, obviously you need to talk to both kids and give them both the equal opportunity to get an education, but if one chooses not to, then, you know, ultimately that's their decision. However, I would also make sure to talk to that kid about their educational options. You know, college, it's not the only way to get educated. Perhaps your other child might want to go to a trade school or vocational school, and you can help them with that and kind of just encourage them along the way and set them up for success.
Yeah. Fair is where cotton candy and the tilt-a-whirl are. Okay, fair is not equal. Equal is not fair. If I work twice as many hours as you work, I should get paid twice what you get paid. If I'm a doctor and I went to school for 43 years and you got out of the 8th grade and I make $600,000 a year and you make $6,000 a year, that's fair. That's fair. A doctor they paid a price, they have a higher level of education, a higher level of expertise, the culture, the services that they provide, we, the culture, value that higher. It doesn't mean the human being is a better human being. Sometimes it means the opposite. It doesn't mean that one person is worth more than another person. I'm talking about economics. Fair is not equal, and equal is not fair. Socialism and communism is the only place that attempts to happen, and it doesn't even work there because it turns out the people running the communist country have all the money. Hello. So it's not even fair or equal there either. So let's just be clear about that. So once we say all of that, then we say, all right, now, how do we apply that to this question that fair is not equal? I would have a tendency to say, let me ask you if you believe this, because you've studied this more than I have. You've done a lot of work in this area. It feels like to me in today's world that some post-high school education would greatly increase your chances of success, whether it's trade school, whether it's tech and you're doing some kind of mentoring or apprentice program, or whether it's a 4-year academic degree in a useful area of study, an area that's useful. But I mean, if you're going to be a farmer, you ought to learn more about farming than they teach in high school.
Right.
But you may not need a 4-year degree in agriculture.
Right.
Okay, I'll go along with that. All right. But I think you got to have a knowledge level above a high school level. And even people who are hugely successful, who are high school graduates only, they went and gathered knowledge somehow, somewhere, in addition to high school. You see what I'm saying? Do you feel like, in your experience, is there any data that lines up with that?
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is it's like there's a lot of disruption in higher education right now, especially post-COVID. A lot of people are questioning, is a 4-year degree worth it? And the thing is it may or may not be for you, but education is still worth it. Like you said,
go. That's it.
It's still key to get an education, in whatever you do, whether it's a certificate program or a vocational degree. Getting educated to do your job well is important. I know you said earlier, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just because there's a student loan crisis and things are really being disrupted right now doesn't mean people shouldn't get educated in one shape or form, but they should do it debt-free and figure out what's really going to be useful for their career path.
Yeah. So in this case, you got one going to college, you're going to help them with it. I'm going to encourage the other one to do something.
Right.
And I will help them with that. It might not cost as much. I might spend half as much on their trade school to be a welder as I spend on the one over here getting the 4-year degree. So fair is not equal, equal is not fair. But I am going to push both of them to a life of continuous learning. Because we tell people around here all the time, I have people interviewing for a leadership degree or leadership position here at Ramsey, and I'll ask them, what's the latest book you read? And they have to think 3 seconds. They don't. If you're not reading, you don't need to be leading. Right. You need to be reading if you're going to lead.
Absolutely.
Readers are leaders, leaders are readers. I mean, there's just you have to be reading something because your brain has to be jacked up, and your brain goes to sleep watching Netflix crap. Your brain just shuts off and starts to deteriorate like you're smoking dope or something. I mean, it's just, so you have to read. You have to read. And so, in other words, a continuous learning life is part of the success formula. Whether or not it is higher education, we can say that's okay.
Right. Well, and I think some parents, they get frustrated when they hear their students say, I don't want a 4-year degree. And then they kind of lose that spot of influence in their students' lives because they're just pushing for one route. But it's like if you really stop and listen and say, what is your passion? What do you want to do? And then you help them map out that journey to get there. You can help them find that right education process for them.
Yeah. But I mean, I know a young man that, had a yard cutting business in high school, and he went and got a 2-year associate's degree in horticulture or whatever, and continued to grow his landscaping business, and then took some business classes, and came to Entree Leadership, and he runs a big stinking business.
That's amazing.
A big business, very successful, way more successful than financially and otherwise than a lot of people who get useless 4-year degrees. So and that's a very low tech trade school type thing. I mean, in welders right now, a good welder's making $100K, a good diesel mechanic's making $100K. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to take Junior that's not going to college and say, hey, nothing is not a plan.
Right.
Something, and we'll help you with the something. Let's figure out what that is. The Bible says, train up a child, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train up a child in the way he is bent. The Old Testament, the old King James says, in the way the child is bent, the way the child is designed. And so if you've got one that's designed for the trades, then let them go into the trades. But I got to be the best at it.
Right.
There's a reason they're starving artists. They suck.
Well, they need that mentorship still.
Try not sucking at your trade, right? And then you won't be starving at it. It's just, that's the thing, right? So I don't care what you want to do, but just go be the best at it, and you can always make a living being the top 5% of something, right? So get after it, baby. Yeah, so equal's not fair, fair's not equal, but continuous learning is a necessary part of successful living.
That's good.
There we go. There's some principles to go with. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today as we do a financial literacy theme hour. We're celebrating our Foundations in Personal Finance curriculum that has been taught in 48% of America's classrooms. If you have a high school classroom and you'd like to get that into your classroom, please contact us. We'd love to help you do that. Sometimes we even have local businesses that will pay for your school and pay for it for your school. And if you're a local business and you want to, hey, my old high school needs to teach this stuff. Well, you're right, it does. And why don't you furnish it for them? That'd be an awesome thing for you to do, to give to your community that way. All of that can be done at RamseySolutions.com. Get in touch with our team here, the Ramsey Ed team. We put the high school curriculum, middle school curriculum, we have college curriculum, all teaching the financial principles that we teach. We're celebrating all of that today. We're doing a teacher appreciation giveaway, awarding 2 teachers $5,000. Go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher. That is brought to you by the film Borrowed Future, our documentary on the epic failure of the student loan crisis in America. Christina is actually featured in that documentary before she came to work here. She was one of our featured experts on the student loan crisis. Teachers, if you want to screen that documentary on the evils of student loans for your team, they can watch Borrowed Future in your classroom for free. We will not charge you a dime to show it to your students. And it just won the #1 Webby just this week. We got a big award on it. And so go to borrowedfuture.com. Contact us if you're a teacher. We'd love to do that for you. And it is so rewarding to have these teenagers learning this material. Keith is with us. Keith is in Colorado Springs. Keith, you got a question about going to college?
Yes, my son's 8 years old, and I was just trying to get what's the best strategy for putting money away for his college or education.
Yeah, well, we definitely recommend a 529 plan. There's a lot of tax benefits. It's a great vehicle for education. You can use it for K through 12 and also for college. We actually were talking about earlier, we do not recommend using it for student loans, but it can even be used to pay off $10,000 in student loans. So the things that you can do related to education with the 529 are just really great. There's also an ESA. There's income limits around it, but that's another great spot to save for college.
Yeah, always use good growth stock mutual funds, not prepaid college in the 529. And you know, you can set it up with your SmartVestor Pro. Click SmartVestor at RamseySolutions.com. They'll set up an automatic draft. You can put $50, $100, $200 a month into it, and be sure that you're ahead. The other thing I would do as a parent who has now, my youngest is 31 years old. All 3 of my children went to a 4-year university. All 3 graduated debt-free. I paid for it, and all 3 graduated in 4 years, which is sometimes known as a miracle. And the reason that happened was we didn't wait until they were leaving to go to college to start talking about this. We started talking about the importance of education when they were 8. And we started talking about using sense, common sense, with your education. And so you're going to go to a school that makes sense economically. You're going to study something that is usable in the marketplace. Ramseys are utilitarian, meaning we actually want some value for what we spend. We're not aesthetics. We don't just gather up degrees to feel good about ourselves. We gather up degrees to get the knowledge to go win in the marketplace. And Christina, you said something at the break that I think is good as the parenting conversation. So Keith, I'm saying take the 8-year-old, begin to train them. Talk to them about the importance of their grades now. That study habits turn into life habits. That study habits turn into grades, which give you access to good schools at lesser cost.
Right.
And you need to start talking about that when they're 8.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I talked to a lot of parents who have seniors, and they were, I'm giving a presentation about scholarships and talking about getting involved in extracurricular activities and all these different things. And they say, how do I motivate my senior in high school? And I start asking them questions about, what have they been doing? What activities are they involved in? What do they do? And they're like, they mostly, play video games or kind of lay around. And it's like, it's kind of hard to instill that motivation now. A lot of that starts when they're 8. It's going out and volunteering as a family. It's getting them involved in extracurricular activities, talking to them about college and the future, and helping them start to have ownership over their future and their responsibilities. That conversation starts early.
Yeah, to my knowledge, the scholarships awarded to video gamers is fairly limited.
I mean, they probably do have video game scholarships.
I think they do, but I think they're pretty limited.
Right.
I think they're pretty limited. Yeah, I'm thinking Halo, that'll get you in, but oh my gosh.
Well, it's interesting. I even give an example where it's like, if you love video games, there's nothing wrong with that, but be intentional with it. So you could even start an online community with other video gamers, host a local group where you bring people together and talk about things. You could even
turn everything into a positive. You're so nice. I'm
mean,
just going,
hope.
don't be a deadbeat. Don't be sitting on the couch eating Doritos, playing video games, and expect you to be a success in your life, okay? Come on, really.
Make the most of your passions.
Yes, you're something else. That's amazing. Well done. You said something at the break that I also want to visit back for Keith's benefit as we talk about parenting youngsters towards an education. And I think this is where society has created the epic student loan failure off this one comment, this one phrase. And I'm going to steal it, and I'm going to use it over and over and over again because it's so good. It's what's caused this whole discussion around higher education. And tell the audience what you and I were talking about at the break.
Yeah, we were talking about how college has become decoupled from reality. So a lot of people feel like
Stop. That was a mic drop. College has become decoupled from reality. See, that's how you go spend $250,000 to get a master's degree in sociology to make $38,000 with the state as a caseworker, because you are decoupled from freaking reality. Your parents are, you are, your counselor is, your Congress is, and now you have a mess in your life. That's decoupled from reality. That's good. We need to recouple.
Yes.
Plug back in.
I was watching a video the other day where the person was talking about how we wouldn't give an 18-year-old a $150,000 business loan.
Oh,
right?
That guy's funny. That's a comedian.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I think I'll need $150,000 so for the next 4 years I can stay slam drunk. That was his line. It's hilarious. And you're gonna borrow. What banker's gonna loan this guy money? Oh, we are. It's called student loans, right? Oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah, it's like you see these people who are normally responsible, even parents who are normally responsible and have, their money figured out, and then their kid goes to college and then they let them take out $40,000 in student loans or $100,000 in student loans. And it's like you wouldn't do that in another scenario. You wouldn't let them take out a personal loan to
They wouldn't loan you $100,000 to buy a Ferrari when you're 18.
Right.
So why do we loan you $100,000 to go to Vanderbilt? I mean, my God, it's the same stupid stuff. Well, Ferraris go down in value. So's your Vanderbilt education. Oh, my God, this is unbelievable.
Well, and some of it, it's not even centered around, what are they actually going to do with that 4-year degree? I love that you use left-handed puppetry, but it's like they'll take out $100,000 in student loans for a degree that's not really focused on what they want to do. And so it's like there's just kind of in a lot of senses, a lack of intentionality.
Well, it's an expensive way to find yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to find myself. Well, let's not go on a journey that costs $200,000 to find yourself. Let's just drop you in the Amazon and see if you can get out. Oh my gosh.
Well, and that's part of why Borrowed Future is so powerful, because it shows the reality of that. It's like, hey, wait a minute. There's a lot of people in that documentary who were told, get a degree, no matter the cost, it's all going to work out. And it's like, wait a minute.
But you guys need to hear this. There's insight in that statement right there. We have decoupled education from reality. The parents, the students, the educators in higher education, and the Congress who loans them the money, and me, by God, the taxpayer that funded it. We have decoupled it from reality, and that's where all this level of disgust comes in. We're disgusted with it. It's ridiculous. I would fire somebody that acted that way if they worked for me. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality best-selling author, is my co-host today. It's a financial literacy theme hour here on the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is Proverbs 14:23. In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. Thomas Edison said, opportunity is missed by most because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. There we go. Kind of been a theme today all day long. All right, up next is Valerie in San Antonio. Hey, Valerie, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great. How can we help?
I just needed some, financial advice. Real quick synopsis, widowed in 15. I remarried last year. I have 4 children remaining in the household that are mine. From the previous marriage. Husband had no children. We just had a newborn about 6 weeks ago. We're trying to still figure out how to merge assets together. I had over $700,000 of more equity assets. He had liquid, cash flow, for lack of a better word, since I don't work. About $150 of retirement. And we still can't figure out, I think a lot of the argument is a lot of financial aspects because it's kind of penny pinching each other because we don't want to join them together. We don't want I don't want it to be unfair for him with 4 additional children, and he doesn't want it to be unfair for me, feeling like he's, feeding off of us. I bought a house in cash, $555,000. I took a small mortgage on it.
All right. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 38.
How old is he?
He's 38.
What's his income?
His income's about 87.
Okay. All right. He knew you had 4. He knew you had 4 children when he married you, right?
Well, I actually have 7, yes, but 4 they're living with me, yes.
Yeah, he knew you had 4 children that he was going to be helping to raise the rest of the way. They come with a package, didn't he?
Yes, and
You knew he didn't have $700,000 in equity, but had a good income, didn't you?
I did.
This is what you both signed up for. Combine it and shut up.
Okay.
You want the marriage to be you want the marriage to be right, or you want to keep your stuff?
I want it to be right.
Yeah, that's what I think, and that's why I'm being so harsh with you. Okay. Because here's the thing, you guys are, if you want to back up and do some kind of prenup, but I think it'd be ridiculous or post-nup or whatever you call those things, I think it'd be ridiculous on this amount of money. I think that you love him, he's committing the next decade of his life to finish raising your last 4 and pouring a lot of his income into it while you stay at home. You're committing your equity to this situation, and the two of you love each other, and you're going to spend the rest of your lives together. You're only 38 when you're 88, and it's been 50 years, and you look back. All of this should have been melded together, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's the only way it's going to work. And so if he thinks he's some kind of cool dude because he brings an income, or you think you're some kind of cool chick because you got some equity, then you two are going to be at each other the rest of your lives.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Am I wrong?
Okay. I hope you're not, because it's not working the way we're doing it now, so something has to change.
Yeah, I agree. So here's what I'm perceiving from the outside. And I'm being kind of smart aleck with you and tough on you, but what I'm perceiving from the outside is that you guys need to flip what it is that you think is most important. My observation of people who have high-quality marriages and build wealth over all these years, over these tens of thousands of people I've worked with, is that they put their relationship ahead of their money. And you guys are putting your money ahead of your relationship.
Makes sense. Okay.
Is that fair?
All right. Well,
is that fair?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
It is. You just get a lot of influence.
It could go bad. It could go bad. But guess what? If it goes bad 4 years from now, the judge is going to give you all your equity back because you owned it prior to the marriage. And you're in Texas. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. He's not going to give half of your stuff after 4 years of marriage to to your husband, okay? You're just not going to do it. Now, after 30 years of marriage, yeah, probably. But if it goes bad soon, the law accounts for your concerns. I'm not a lawyer, but sadly I've had the opportunity to walk through a lot of these situations with folks who are going through divorce. So, but you have to decide what it is you value more. Let's concentrate on that, and that means the other is going to take backseat. And so you guys are trying to say, all right, the money's the most important thing, and how do I do that and still have a quality relationship? Very difficult.
Yeah, that's so well said. I think it's a mindset shift for sure. It's going from this is his money, this is my money, to it is our money, and we're doing this together.
Now, we always tell young couples, and you guys aren't, you're not baby children. I mean, you're not 21 or something, but we always tell young couples you have to be French once you're married. We own stuff, our stuff. You don't have my stuff, your stuff, our stuff. And, my wife has not earned an income outside of the home in over 30 years. But we have a wonderful income because we're French. Right? I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so, and we have to be real careful because sometimes she'll go, well, you're making all this money. No. We are making all this money. I happen to be the one down there at the office, but we are making all this money. It is our money. There's a we here. And you have to really work on that and work on your pronouns because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, the Bible says. So we tell folks that come to work here, don't talk about they or you guys. You're a we once you're here. And when you don't want to be a we anymore, go work somewhere else because we is we. And same thing working here. You change your pronouns. When you're a Ramsey, on the Ramsey team, you're we. We don't do it that way. We believe this. And we'll argue with each other. We argue about what we think, inside this building. And you do that in your marriage too, if you're smart. So it's a good question, Valerie. And your how you got here is reasonable. But as you said, what you're doing is not working. And you may want to do this under the guidance of a good marriage counselor or a good pastor walking you through. It's not like you're about to get divorced, but there is a rough patch here, and having somebody help you put language to it might be really, really, really valuable. All right. It is a financial literacy theme hour. We're celebrating our Foundations in Personal Finance class being in about 48% of the high schools in America. We're appreciating teachers with the Teacher Appreciation Giveaway. 2 more days. The giveaway ends April 30th. $5,000 to 2 teachers. Cash will be given away. No purchase necessary. You don't have to be teaching our curriculum. You do have to be a teacher. Go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher. It's brought to you by the documentary Borrowed Future. And in the 1 minute that we've got left, the most important thing, if you want to go to school debt-free, the most important mathematical variable is college choice. Choosing a school that you have the money to pay for. Vanderbilt is $54,000 a year tuition. The University of Tennessee is $12,000 a year tuition, plus room and board in both cases. Okay, nothing wrong with either university. You went to Vanderbilt. I went to the University of Tennessee. We can argue about that later. But neither one are bad. Neither one are evil. Neither one are inherently good. Neither one of us are better for having gone one place or the other place. It's a college. You were able to pay cash for that with scholarships. I was able to pay cash for the University of Tennessee with hard work. Either one's okay. But adjust your college choice to fit your budget. You cannot buy a Bentley when you're 18 years old if you have the budget for a used Chevy pickup. Buy a used Chevy pickup. Number one problem that causes student loans is students decouple the college cost from reality and go, I can just go anywhere because it's education and math doesn't count. Yes, it does count. Go where you can afford. That's simple. Good show, Christina.
Great being here. This was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Good day today. All right, to James and Kelly and Zach and the gang in the booth, I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.